Thanks for tuning in. This is how I make my maple syrup, from sap to syrup to pancakes. Alright, we got so many requests to show you how we finish our maple syrup or turn our sap into syrup, so I'll show you that. I've got a 32-gallon vat, got a lid on it, and I brought over roughly 60 gallons of sap, and I'll show you the results here. This has been boiling, 60 gallons have been boiling for probably 24 to 30 hours, and I've already cooled it off. So I've refilled this multiple times over the course of the 30 hours. This holds 30 gallons, but you don't want to boil 30 gallons at once. You want to boil maybe 3 or 4 inches on my setup to boil off as much. So putting in too much sap does not yield faster boiling results. So it's easier to boil smaller quantities than it is to boil off larger quantities. So I think I have about 3 or 4 gallons left here. Again, I said I boiled down 60 gallons of sap, and you typically yield 40 gallons to 1 gallon. So I'm looking to get around 1.5 gallons out of this. So I boiled this down to a 50-50. So this is about 3 gallons. I measured it and took the volume of my vat here to find out about how much we have left. And now we're going to take it and I'm going to transfer it to a tall, skinny pot. And I'll show you what I got. This is actually a turkey fryer pot. I did all of my boiling before I get this vat in that turkey fryer pot. It's actually really nice and really easy to get. But screen out as much as we can. We'll screen every step and filter on the last step. Make sure this is draining out. It's not scalding hot and going to burn you. Make sure you can have a pot that can handle it if it is scalding hot. And just sit here and wait for the drain out this 3 gallons. Now you can see why screening it's so important. That's nasty. However, it still tastes good. Alright, so all my boiled down concentrate in a tall skinny bucket. We'll take this inside and finish it up inside. Probably have another hour or so of boiling left. Here we are in my kitchen. We've got this going over here, getting ready to boil out. And I did something with my last batch I'm not too proud of, but I'm going to show you what happens if you walk away too long from the sap. Or almost syrup. It boils over and burns to your stove, creates a big, nasty, stinky mess. I lost probably a half gallon of syrup off my last batch. I was using the same turkey fryer, full to about here, and so once it starts to turn into syrup, it gets real foamy, and it boiled from there, it was this high, and it boiled all the way up that high. I don't know if you can see how high that is. It's a 20-pound turkey fryer, which I want to say it holds like 10 gallons. So it boiled from here all the way up to here and foamed out over the top, and I lost maybe almost a half gallon, quart, something along those lines. So we'll let this boil for about an hour. It's not even hot yet. Just put it in the stove from outside. So we'll come back and check on it. You're going to want to check on it frequently. You see how high I got? That's when you're going to want to turn the heat down. Don't let it boil over like I did. Alright, you're going to want one of these things to hold a hydrometer to take your readings. This one is specifically made for sugar and maple syrup. This one's actually from Tap My Trees, which is a pretty good website. And we're going to be shooting it between about 60 and 65 bricks on the scale here. That's when it's syrup. Any higher than that will be caramel. I like to have a stainless steel pan on hand to put dirty instruments in, and we'll see, we'll filter into this later. You're going to need a ladle and that same screen thing. I don't know what it is. This is about what you want it to look like while it's boiling. You can see how it almost boiled over. Whew, it's hot. You see, we almost boiled over, and I was sitting right next to it. The foam came all the way up here, down to here, all the way up here when it started to first boil. That's almost 8 inches. It could have easily boiled over And I was sitting right next to it. You want to be sitting right next to it when it starts to boil, and you want to be sitting right next to it when this gets to be close to be syrup or candy, otherwise it'll boil over again. So this is what we want it to look like to boil off the last little gallon that's in there. Once you get to this point on the syrup, almost syrup anyways, you're not going to want to go far, and you're going to want to be testing it over and over and over again with the hydrometer. There goes my timer to check on it. I check on my syrup or my sap every 15 minutes when we start getting this close, just so we don't have a boil over. Go from 15 minutes to 10 minutes, 5 minutes, and then right on top of it until we get it. But here's the first test. Let's take a look at it. We just take it and do a spin test. You can see how it starts bubbling up. We're getting more and more and more sugar. I'm going to do a test with the hydrometer here in a second, but you can take and you can do a drip test. It's getting close. You can see how the water just stays on there. It's getting close, close, close. But the ultimate test is going to be the hydrometer. And again, we want about, I try shoot for 60 bricks. Take this, if we lean this forward as we fill up our soon-to-be syrup into the jar here to take a test. Alright, we're getting close now. We're currently floating at about 55 bricks. Again, we want to be at 60. We're nearly there. Probably 5-10 minutes. So at this point, I'll come in and check every 5 minutes. Okay, you can see we're starting to boil over again. The closer you get to the 60 bricks, the higher it'll boil up. So we're just going to lower the temperature a little bit. Shut her all the way down. And then I'm going to go ahead and take another measurement. It's really, really close. While you're waiting on the boil, you should go ahead and get out your filtering. Get your jars or whatever it is you're bottling it in. We happen to have new jars, so I don't have to worry about sanitizing this time. I just filled her with cheesecloth, so I'm just going to take a section of cheesecloth. And then if you're doing a few gallons, you're going to want a few pieces because it gets clogged and you want to get a new one. This is how I set up my filter. I take this exact same screen here that we've been using to screen everything. And then I just layer a little cheesecloth in it like this. Then I'll pour hot syrup right into this. So let's go ahead and take this last measurement. I think we're there. Okay, you can look at the top, the ladle here. You can see how it's starting to kind of solidify over to the sides. So we're starting to have more sugar in this than we have water. Let's give this a spin. You can hear it. I don't have the heat up though that high. Drip test. 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah. 2 to 3 seconds in between. If you don't have the hydrometer, there are less accurate ways to do this. They say just 7.5 degrees over boiling, which would be what, 212 degrees Fahrenheit boil plus 7.5, so 219.5 degrees Fahrenheit. So we can take a temperature reading. If that's boiling at 219.5 degrees, then the syrup's ready. So let's go ahead and do that. So if it's boiling at 219 degrees Fahrenheit, I gotta turn off my timer because I was telling myself to come out here. Otherwise I'll boil over and have a big mess like we did. But if it's boiling at 219.5 degrees Fahrenheit, it's supposedly ready. So let's take a thermometer, let's check that, and then we'll check it against the hydrometer, see which one's more accurate. So my digital thermometer had it at 216.5 degrees, so it would say another 3 degrees and we'd have syrup. I'm going to check on my bricks. I'm going to check the bricks reading with the hydrometer, and we'll see if it says that we're at the right place. We're at 55, 56 bricks, so looks like it's pretty accurate because I got to go 4 or 5 more. We're just there. It's really, really close. We're going to be boiling really slow right now at really cool temperature. Okay, I'm down to about checking once a minute right now. It's really, really, really close. Let's go ahead and give you the spin test so you can see the difference. See my drip test, it's really hanging on there. Again, we're looking for, what, 219 and a half. Probably don't need to tell you that because on YouTube land, you just saw me do this. Ooh, I can tell you it's a lot hotter in here. 212, 215, 216 and a half, 217. We're 218 degrees. I'm guessing I'm going to be at the low side of the bricks at 60. Actually, you can see right here, they want you, this is actually specifically made for maple syrup, but you can see you want about 59. I like to get it about 60, so opposed to 66. So once you get past 66 down in here, you're talking caramel. And I think I'm going, in a future video, I will make some maple caramel and some maple candies and show you how to make maple sugar in videos coming up. So please subscribe to those so you don't miss them out. So let's see where we're at right now on the hydrometer. So close. I'm at 59. So close. Okay, it's been 1 minute later. I'll get my. That's better. Fill this little guy up. If anyone knows what that's called, let me know in the comments, because I forget when I bought it. I call it my doodad for the hydrometer. That's 1 minute, one brick. You can see that red line right there. So good. Right there. It's holding at 60. We have maple syrup. So stay tuned, guys, right now, because I'm going to show you how to filter and bottle. Right now, after I clean up this meter stuff. Okay, well, comment below how much maple syrup you think I got. This go, I think I'm going to get about 1.5 gallons. Let's see if I'm good. I know I boiled down to roughly 60 gallons. It might have been 70, might have been 50. Let's see. I pulled out some quart containers. And if any of you have a guess of how much we've made over the whole mapling season, which I think is going to be my last batch here in a couple days, I'm going to do a video on how to safely remove your taps and clean up and get ready in storage for the next year. Write down in the comments how many gallons you think I got made for the entire year. Alright, let's turn off the heat. Boom. There's my pot. You can see it all caramelized on top there. It's beautiful. We're about that full on the outside of this pot. To give you an idea so you can get a good guess if I actually got my 2 gallons or not. Sorry, I just realized I held the camera sideways, but that's alright. I never said I was a professional. Okay, so I'm going to put my little silicone gloves on. I got a milk jug here I cut out to put trash filtration stuff in so I don't have to haul it over the trash can. I have jars ready to fill. I have hot maple syrup. It's important to, as soon as you turn the heat off on this, your time starts ticking. Because the cooler it gets, the harder it is to get it through your filter. And since it's only 2 gallons-ish, I'm just going to pick it up and we'll pour through the filter. And then I'm going to ladle it. Here goes. Ooh, it's hot. Hot, 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 hot. Holy crap. Hot, 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 hot. Hot. Right through the oven mitts. Alright, so I'm sure you can see this here is starting to get clogged. It was rushing through. We put about 1 gallon through it. Now I need to go ahead and move this around. So we're moving around the sugar sands to get the rest of the sap, well, now syrup, through this filter. And then I'm going to actually throw this filter in the trash. You see this gross black stuff. That's just from cooking it out. Sugar sands is nothing more than caramelized sugars that you get in the sugar process. I really like them, but I don't want to have all this black nasty stuff in my syrup. But I really like this, the sugar crystals. They ding you if you're to take your sap to the fair. You get dinged for that, so you need a filter better than this. Okay, so I'm going to throw this out. Right there. Now I have sanitized ball mason jars. These are a quart. Make sure if you're not working new, if they're new, sanitized and sealed, that you are sanitizing. So we just ladle them right in over top of your bucket or your pan or whatever it is you're working with. Oh, it's getting hot. Hot, hot, hot. Okay, so this is for my personal stash because I like the last draw. Hot. That's it. So we got our first quart here. So I want to show you something real quick. This is going to be my last. Man, it's so hot. This is going to be my last go. You can kind of tell just by how dark the syrup is. So I want to show you something real quick. It's really interesting. So this is how you can tell the maple season. You have a grade A and a grade B. All that is light versus dark. It has nothing to do with quality. In fact, the United States just made it to where it's just called light and dark syrup now. But you have this, which is almost gone, because you don't get much at all. This is would be grade A. This is what you get your first go. So when it's really, really cold outside, just barely creeping above freezing, the tree starts flowing sap, you get grade A. I actually didn't get any grade A this year because it just went straight from below freezing to boom, summertime. So I only had like a week and a half, 2 weeks to gather syrup. So again, how much do you think syrup did I get this season? So that we got last year, and that's all I have left of my grade A last year. Now this is what it typically looked like. So this is your normal mid-grade. So most of my stuff look like this right here. So this is your normal syrup. And then, man, it's so hot. What we just bottled right here. You can see just how dark it is. You can't even see through it. I'll show them side by side here. This is maple syrup, maple sap, all made from the same trees. So you can see the differences. This is grade A right here. This would be grade B. This would be in the middle here. So this is your standard, what you're going to see mostly. But this is how you know when the season's about over. So this is going to be my last run, because after this the buds start coming in and it starts to get really bitter and gross. People say you can make alcohol with it. We don't do that here. But alright, how much did I get this go? Was it 1 quart? Did you guess? 2 or 3 quarts? Did you guess? A gallon? Maybe a gallon and 1 quart? Or did you guess the gallon and a half, which was my guess? Man, it's still hot. Let me know if what you guessed and what you got right. Oh, one last thing, guys. Don't forget to clean up. Maple syrup is just sugar. Cleans up really well with warm water and soap. That's it.